weekends. Two sort of difficult trips up and down the New Jersey Turnpike. This guy monitors all things New York sports, so he's got Knicks going on, Rangers going on, who knows, the Islanders, the Devils, all that good stuff, and two relatively mediocre football teams. Otis Livingston covers all things sports at CBS2 in New York, and you can follow his journey out on Twitter at OLivingston TV. We've done gotten our butts kicked twice up there in the Meadowlands. I'm a Springsteen guy, but this Jersey thing's getting out of hand, Otis.
Yeah, you know what? And we were surprised. I mean, it almost seems like if you want to snap a losing streak, bring in the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh, man, that's tough talk. You're hitting me right in the heart, Otis. You're killing me.
Let's just be honest. Come on. I mean, the Giants are struggling. They managed to beat them on that Odell Beckham play. Then the Jets today, they were really, really hurting. 1-5. You got Geno Smith, who sat out about 14 months out of the starting lineup, got his chance, and then he gets hurt, and Ryan Fitzpatrick comes back today. We're looking around, and we're saying, man, that game right there, that typifies the Jets. How could that happen? How could Geno Smith go in on Sunday, get hurt, and then Ryan Fitzpatrick, who was just benched, come back and
save the day,
play like the hero? Yeah, exactly. But that's only the Jets, so we'll see what's going to happen, later on this week.
Well, we got our own problems here. We're on a 4-game losing streak. It's been a month. We got 2 weeks off. We got the Steelers. We got injuries head to toe everywhere. Quarterback's not playing well. Coach isn't coaching well, according to the coach, by the way. But meanwhile, the Jets, the Jets might be a bigger mess despite winning, right? I mean, it looks like there's not much happening there, far be it from me after we get our butts kicked. But the quarterbacking situation there, at least we're pretty sure we have a quarterback around here. It really is kind of a mess. Where do the Jets start to pick the pieces up with this Geno Smith Fitzpatrick fiasco? And really, in the postgame, Fitzpatrick was almost playing the nobody believes in me card, right?
Well, a lot of times, people use that as motivation. Teams use that to motivate themselves. It's us against the world. I guess Ryan Fitzpatrick wanted to take a page out of that book. But, I tweeted something earlier on Sunday, and it was just like, okay, so did you want them to lose confidence in you and not play you after you had the 9 interceptions in back-to-back weeks? He had 6 against Kansas City, and then he came back with 3 the next game. Well, they let him start 2 more games. After that, they gave him an opportunity to make better before they pulled him out of the lineup. So to say that the owner and the head coach have lost confidence in you, yeah, they could have lost confidence when you had those back-to-back terrible weeks and sat you then, but instead they gave you 2 more chances, and you still couldn't come through. So stop with the pity party, man. And Geno, he was really frustrated sitting back. He thought he should have been the starter. He thought he should have had an opportunity earlier this year, and he looked, I guess, kind of decent today, on Sunday, rather, before he got hurt. But, I mean, come on. Ryan Fitzpatrick playing the pity party, it didn't play well. And they're always talking about his leadership skills and the way the guys follow him. I can guarantee you that one will not play too well in the locker room.
Well, and I don't know that it should. And I look at our problems right now with the season kind of, completely going off the rails at 3-4 now with the Steelers coming in and the injuries. But I look at the Jets and you leave them behind. And first off, you wonder, how did we lose to those guys? And then you start to look at it and say, what did they have going on, moving forward? The Geno Smith thing, I guess from a New York perspective, starting quarterback gets punched in the jaw and doesn't find the field for 14 months and doesn't find the end of the game. His luck continues to get worse, right?
Yeah, it certainly does. I mean, like I said, he was the starter last year, and if it weren't for, IK and Polly punching him in the jaw, he would have been the starter. Now, Ryan Fitzpatrick has a career year, 31 touchdowns, which was a Jets franchise record for the single season, and then he holding out as far as not reporting to camp until the day of the opening of training camp and got his $12 million. He knew that career year would not be duplicated. He had to get the money that he wanted and that he had to get after that season, or else it was it. That was his last opportunity at a payday. Geno, now you have to sit back and you have to wait. He waited 6 weeks, a 1-5 record, a guy in front of him who was terrible most of the year, outside of the Buffalo game. And so he got his opportunity on Sunday, and you know what? It just seems like he's snake bitten. Of course, the first thing with Ike and Polly, that was his fault. His performances up until that point were his fault. He didn't play well. Now he gets his opportunity on Sunday and he gets hurt. So, there was a scene on the sideline. It looked like Fitzpatrick was talking to him and he kind of shoved him a little bit like, hey, I don't want to hear it. He probably was thinking to himself, this is just my luck. I get an opportunity, and now this guy comes in, and he's, on a white horse coming to the rescue and wins the game that I started. Now we'll have to see the rest of the week after he takes an MRI, after he gets examined a little further to see if he's going to be the starter or if they go back to Fitzpatrick or, it's like a soap opera right now.
2 decades covering New York sports. He is Otis Livingston. You can follow his journey out on Twitter at OLivingstonTV. He's at CBS 2 in New York. Been there almost a decade as well. And from the Ravens' perspective, this wasn't a good look, right? I mean, 6 total yards on the ground. Flacco couldn't throw the ball in the second half. Threw the ball pretty well in the first half. But more than that, the tackling in the middle of the field, the Ravens certainly missed C.J. Mosley, amongst other things. They lost Webb later in the afternoon. But the run after the catch or the run after the first missed tackle was astonishing. And, look, I heard about Enunwa, and obviously with Decker being out, he's a kid that's going to get more playing time, but he was the fastest guy. I can't remember the last time I saw 5 Ravens lose a foot race for 60 yards to the end zone. Usually somebody can catch a wide receiver, but there was nobody out there fast enough to catch him.
You know what? He is a secret. He's a secret weapon. Not a lot of people know about him. I mean, he's been in the league about 4 years. I think he runs a 4.40 or something like that. And he said that his teammates, they know he's fast enough, but the other, the opposing team doesn't know. So that's why he was able to pull away. And I know what you mean. It looked like, okay, somebody might get an angle, somebody might trip him up, somebody might, you know what I mean? And he almost got tripped up. He said he looked up at the board, and when he looked up at the board, he almost got tripped up, but it was smooth sailing after that. But yeah, this is a guy who in the preseason we thought would have a big impact because if you double Marsh or you do something with Decker or whatever, he's supposed to be the guy that's going to come up with these big plays. He improved. They were talking so much about him in the preseason. Todd Bowles, the other receivers, Ryan Fitzpatrick. They were talking about the impact that he should have this season. Up until this point, he's been a possession guy. He hasn't been a really big, target. But that play right there, I mean, that play right there made Geno Smith's short afternoon look pretty good because he caught that short pass and he took it to the house.
In the case of the Ravens and where they are at this point, obviously missing all sorts of pieces to this puzzle. Any thoughts on the Ravens from what you saw on Sunday, Otis?
Well, yeah, I think that's what it is. I think they've lost so many pieces that once they get those guys back, they're going to be a formidable team. They've always been a formidable team. I'm not so sure about their first 3 wins. They didn't look like great wins, but this, as that team has been
they're better than ugly losses.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that. I want those ugly wins back again. I remember bitching about 3-0. I do. It was a month ago.
It felt good, right?
Well,
I know the feeling. No, you know what? In the NFL, a win is a win. It doesn't matter if it's ugly, if it's pretty, if it's whatever.
Yeah, the ones against the Patriots count the same as the Browns. I mean, they really do, right? They're just a one win, right?
Yep. No, I'm with you, man. I just think that, some team, most teams don't use that as an excuse, and I'm sure the Ravens aren't using that as an excuse because injuries happen in the league. Once they get those guys back, they're going to be better. I didn't think Joe Flacco looked that great today, and I know he's a better quarterback than that.
Otis, you had the Giants earlier today, and it's been a wild week, right? So we had a bus trip up there last week, and it was summer, right? I mean, girls are out in bikinis. Everybody's having a good time. It's a sea of blue out there, and the team stunk. Okay, great. We come back this week. The Giants are on TV at 9:30 in the morning up in the lounge there. We're playing the Jets. It might as well have been like winter just arrived. There's all these flakes blowing through the Meadowlands parking lot from the leaves. They're not leaves. They're like white. It was like snowing. It was freezing out for everybody that was there. And we go inside, and the two teams that have stunk in the New York area, and you covered every single night at CBS2, have win games on Sunday in the most unlikely way. And I guess, taking the trip back, it's been probably never happened before that a team has gone in there and played both of those teams back to back and then stunk the joint up quite the way the Ravens have over the last 8 days, right?
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out. I've been trying to go back in history to see, if there's been that type of situation before. I haven't seen anything yet. That's a scheduling anomaly. Like I said when we first started our conversation, the Giants and Jets, they have not had good seasons, but you never know. Those games against the Ravens may turn around some of their season. You got the Jets. I think they play the Browns next, and then they play the Dolphins.
Well, the Browns turn everybody's season around. That's a Christmas card.
Exactly. So that's two. Those are two winnable games right there. It gets tougher as they go on after that. But and I think that's what Geno Smith was looking at, because we knew before this season started that the first 6 games of the season were going to be hellacious, right? So Ryan Fitzpatrick is the guinea pig. He's out there for those games. He goes 1-5. Now it's Geno's turn to get in the saddle, and we saw about 2 or 3, maybe 4 games that were winnable. That if he got into a little rhythm, if he and started winning back his teammates, and started winning back the fan base, and started winning the confidence of the higher ups in the organization, that this could be an opportunity for him to actually show what he could do, maybe override some of the previous performances that he had, and then he gets hurt. So it's like, what luck is that? So now we'll see what's going to happen the rest of this week, because if he's healthy, I think he's got a good chance to go right back in there and start. Because I'm pretty sure. I mean, the front office, the head coaching staff, and all that, they won't say it, but I'm sure those comments that Ryan Fitzpatrick made in the post game are going to sting a little bit, and they're not too happy about that right now. They'll shake it off and say whatever, he's a competitor, blah blah blah. But I think if they have the opportunity and Geno's healthy, I think he'll be back a starter.
Otis, no drama quite like what went on with Josh Brown this week, right? So I guess, feeding into that, the Ravens were the last ones up there. They're playing this 9:30 in the morning game. They have stunk. The Jets have stunk as much. The Jets have a quarterback controversy and are 1-5 and all that. But the Josh Brown thing sort of transcended the league. It transcended the Giants. It transcended New York, I think, to some degree. Everyone in the country weighing in on it. This is a scarlet letter, right? I mean, you hit your girlfriend in the modern era. There's no more hush hush. Anybody's going to cover. You're not going to have a friend in the world if you're hitting your girlfriend at this point. And obviously, the Giants couldn't run fast enough, far enough away from Josh Brown, and yet somehow didn't. And it's not often that the Giants get ripped for being callous, but in this particular case, this wasn't a good look for anyone in the organization, least of which is Josh Brown, right?
No doubt. I mean, the Giants are looked at as one of the flagship organizations in the NFL. They're class personified most of the time, all the way from Wellington Mayor, of course. George Young was a GM. It's just always exuded class. But this situation right here, wow. I mean, they couldn't have stuck their foot, any worse than this, because we find out that they knew about the situation and not only stood behind him, but gave him a new contract in the offseason. It almost seems like, and I'm going to use Ray Rice as an example for your Baltimore. It almost seemed like there was no video. So we're going to do this, and we're going to sign him to this contract. But once that extra information came out, because they were taking a little bit of heat before the season, 1-game suspension, whatever, you still going to keep him on the team. So there was a little bit of heat as far as that goes. But once he came back or whatever. But once we found out about this other stuff, the journals, the Pro Bowl incident, and all this kind of stuff, it's almost like the second Ray Rice video. Now everybody gets on board. Now everybody is coming at the NFL. The NFL is now backtracking, saying, well, we tried to get the information. The Giants are saying, yeah, well, we knew, we felt confident that things were different, and, all this kind of stuff. Now we're going to have to reevaluate. it's a big time mess. Even Ben McAdoo, when they got over to London, after the situation has already been exposed and everything, he's saying that they're going to stand by him, they're going to support him. They're not, I guess, as a man, but I'm sure that he's done. He's on the commissioner's exempt list. They're going to do.
Yeah, I mean, how can you can't send him out there to kick the football again, right?
No. That would have been the biggest mistake if they had not left him. If they had let him get on that plane and go over to London to play a football game, that would have really. Well, I mean, you want to talk about one incident really tainting an organization and so much goodwill and class personified that they've exuded all these years. That would have done it.
Well, I mean, the organization, the league, the shield, what's going on. Then there's the whole racial element of white versus black. Then there's the whole point where you say, well, no kicker's going to hit his wife. That's what big guys do, right? I mean, it's all right. It's a silly thought, but the first thought is, well, he's only 6 feet tall and he's one of the small guys. Kickers don't hit their wives. It really is. The whole thing is kind of eye-opening, and the whole thing is filthy. And knowing what Goodell went through and knowing what the Ravens as an organization, and Bisciotti had to come out with his loafers on and sit there and answer questions in the middle. CNN's banging on John Harbaugh's door, right? I mean, this is all week 2. It was 2 years ago. This should be very, very fresh to the Giants as to where this path goes when the curtain gets pulled back and the fans and the league, everyone finds out that you were in on it, because that was really the charge with the Ravens was, did you guys really try to find that video in Atlantic City, or did you not try to find it as an employer? There is no video here, but there's all of this evidence over a number of years that the Giants were in on this. Right.
And the fact that she, called. That he's been called on a number of times, a number of incidents, you know what I mean? And let's face it, the investigators that these NFL teams have, the security that they have, they can get that kind of information. That's just well known that even the Ravens, they could have gotten the information, they could have gotten the video.
Well, TMZ got it, right? I mean, if TMZ can get it, how can the National Football League not get it, right?
We should have been able to, to kind of to thwart this situation. And like you said, it's fresh in everybody's mind. So, when is that organization, when is the next organization, hopefully these sort of incidents don't happen anymore, obviously. No one wants that to happen. But which organization is going to learn from the previous, problems that because that Ray Rice thing is very
the mess is predictable. Once you go in on it, you're covering it up. If it ever gets outed, you're in on the mess. And the Giants, they had their grenade blow up, but either way, they won 2 games in a row. The Jets have beaten the Ravens as well. It's great checking in with you, man. How are the Knicks looking this year? They going to fix things or no?
Well, if they can stay healthy, of course, that's the caveat with them. You got 2 big pieces, Joakim Noah and Derrick Rose. Those are 2 new pieces that can help this team possibly become a playoff team. I think that's what their aspirations are, but can they stay healthy? I like Brandon Jennings as a backup, but I don't want him as a starter. I want him to be able to come off the bench and give them energy. I see a Carmelo Anthony who is rejuvenated, who is very inspired to play now. Looks like he's got a surrounding cast. You got Kristaps Porzingis, the big fellow who's going to keep on hopefully getting better and better, improving and just maturing right before our eyes. So, they're very excited about it. They open up on Tuesday. They're playing against the world champs. They'll get to watch the rings, and hopefully that'll inspire them. Maybe they don't get a win that night, but hopefully that inspires them to play some good basketball and hopefully make the playoffs this year.
Nobody expects to beat the Cavaliers or the Warriors, I guess, at this point. Yeah, exactly. I'll be up in New York this weekend, man. Looking forward to getting up there. Maybe get me some good weather and some fall foliage in Central Park or something, right?
All right. Thanks a lot, man.
Otis, my pleasure. There he goes, Otis Livingston. He is Livingston TV. He's a sports director at CBS2 in the Big Apple. I'm headed up there this week. My wife's been a part of the DKMS, and, of course, there goes my hero and all that we talk about with leukemia and saving lives. And we'll have some more information for you in the coming weeks. Don't forget, on November the 12th, our friend Niels, who saved my wife's life twice, will be in Baltimore. We're having an event for him, his birthday, at Roost Chris Pier 5. No obligation. attention, no cover. Just come on down, say hello, have a drink if you wish, have a steak if you wish, have a slider if you wish, have a salad if you wish. That is November the 12th. We're doing that. We're at Buffalo Wild Wings every Monday night in Owings Mills doing the best seat in the house competition. Love to see you out there for some Monday Night Football. It's all, of course, powered up by Fully Loaded Limousine. They take care of our best seat in the house competition. You win a $100 gift card at halftime. And we also have the Blazing Wing Eating Challenge that makes grown men and women cry at halftime. Come on out. That's a $25 gift card as well. We're at Buffalo Wild Wings in Owings Mills every Monday night. Anything you miss, you can find in the Bahia Toyota Audio Vault 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world on your mobile device by downloading the TuneIn Radio app. It's all right here on the mobile device. The morning newspaper arrives in your email inbox at 7 a.m. each and every morning. That's powered up by Planet Fitness and planetfitness.com. Last but never least, any breaking news, injuries, stuff going on here during the Ravens bye week. The Orioles, once the World Series is over, and we're all watching the Cubbies and the Tribe as well, you can get it first on the WNST text service. That is our breaking news service. It's the best thing we do, and it's free to subscribe, and it's all brought to you by our friends at Coons Ford of Security Boulevard. Big thanks to Dennis Kolotzis, not only for hosting the Sunday Sports Voice on Thursdays here from 3 until 5, but also for lending me a car to get to New Jersey on Thursday. Give the folks at Coons Ford a look. We appreciate them sponsoring our text service and the ride to the Meadowlands and the swamps of Jersey. Dennis will be here on Thursday. Nasty at WNST.net reaches me. Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram, streaming live on Facebook Live, as well as on our YouTube WNSTV channel. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, and WNST Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.